Dad forgot my birthday again, then saw my $50,000 Mercedes on Instagram and scheduled a family meeting. The rain drums against my Chicago apartment window, each drop racing down the glass like tears I refuse to shed. I'm sitting cross-legged on my gray sectional, staring at the single red velvet cupcake on my glass coffee table. One pathetic candle sits unlit in the center. 29 years old today, and once again, absolutely nobody remembers. I check my iPhone for what feels like the 100th time in the past hour. No missed calls. No texts. Just my own reflection staring back from the black screen, looking as forgotten as I feel. The digital clock on my microwave glows 7:30 p.m. with cruel finality. Something deep in my chest deflates like a punctured balloon. It's official now. Another birthday has slipped by unnoticed by the people who brought me into this world. Against my better judgment, I unlock my phone and open Instagram, knowing full well it's emotional self-sabotage. My thumb scrolls almost on autopilot until I find exactly what I'm looking for, my sister Natalie's latest post. There she is, absolutely glowing at her art gallery opening last weekend, standing next to her latest sculpture. 127 likes already, and climbing. Mom's comment appears first, our brilliant artist. Dad and I are so proud of your incredible talent and dedication. Dad's comment follows immediately, that's my girl. Picasso himself would be envious of your vision and skill. The familiar tightness grips my throat like a vice. 29 years of this exact same pattern, and somehow it still cuts as deep as the very first time. I close Instagram and flip to my camera roll, finding photos of the corporate office redesign I completed just last month. The sleek conference rooms. The perfect balance of functionality and modern aesthetics. The project that earned me recognition from the Chicago Design Association and a $75,000 bonus. A tear splashes onto my screen, blurring the image of my greatest professional achievement to date. I wipe it away with my sleeve, frustrated with myself for this display of emotion. No one's ever going to celebrate you the way they celebrate her, Rebecca, I whisper to the empty room, my voice sounding small and defeated in the silence. The memory surfaces without permission, me at 8 years old, wearing the purple birthday dress Grandma Helen had sent specially for my big day. My hair in careful pigtails. A hopeful smile plastered across my face. Hurry up, we can't be late for Natalie's recital. Mom had called, rushing through our Oak Park living room without really seeing me standing there. But what about my party? My small voice had barely registered above the chaos. Dad had ruffled my hair absently. We'll celebrate next weekend, kiddo. I promise. We never did. That was the first time I learned to fade into the background of my own life, to expect nothing and somehow still end up disappointed. I brush another tear away, annoyed with myself for wallowing. I'm 29, not 9. I should have learned by now not to expect anything different. The cupcake sits untouched, its red frosting slightly hardened from waiting too long in the Chicago humidity. I reach for it, then stop mid-motion. What exactly am I celebrating? Another year of being invisible? Another milestone marked only by my own acknowledgement? Not this time. Something shifts inside me, a spark of defiance I haven't felt in years. I straighten my shoulders and grab my laptop from the coffee table. My bank account balance appears on the screen, $127,856.43. The result of years of careful saving, smart investments, and that recent $75,000 bonus from the Millennium Tower project. Money that no one in my family even knows about because, frankly, no one has bothered to ask how my career is going. I stare at those numbers, my finger hovering over my iPhone. The thought forming in my mind feels dangerous, reckless even. And yet, for the first time in hours, my heart beats with something other than disappointment. I press the call button. Lexus of downtown Chicago, this is Marcus speaking. How can I help you today? A friendly voice answers. Hi, I say, surprised by how steady my voice sounds. I was wondering if you have any GX 460s available on the lot. We certainly do. Several trim levels, actually. Were you thinking about scheduling a test drive? I look at the forgotten cupcake, at my Rain Street window, at the phone that hasn't rung all day. Actually, I'm thinking about buying one. Tonight. Marcus sounds genuinely surprised. Well, we're open until 9. I'd be happy to get the paperwork started if you're serious about this. I say, feeling a new determination rise in my chest like a phoenix. I'm very serious. I end the call and stand up, catching my reflection in the dark window. For a moment, I barely recognize myself. The straight spine, the lifted chin, the gleam in my eyes that looks almost like rebellion. If they won't celebrate me, I tell my reflection, I'll celebrate myself. I grab my purse and car keys, leaving the sad cupcake behind like a symbol of my past self. The rain has stopped, and somewhere beyond the Chicago skyline, there might even be stars tonight. For the first time in 29 years, I'm going to give myself exactly what I deserve. 45 minutes later, the Lexus dealership gleams under bright spotlights that make the showroom floor sparkle like polished marble. I push through the glass doors, my heart hammering against my ribs with nervous energy. A man in a perfectly pressed navy suit approaches with a practiced smile of someone who knows how to read potential customers. Welcome to Lexus of downtown Chicago. I'm Marcus. His handshake is firm and confident. What brings you in this evening? I called earlier about the GX460, I reply, my voice steadier than I feel inside. I'd like to buy one tonight. Marcus blinks, genuine surprise flickering across his professional features. Of course, let me show you our selection. He guides me through a showroom filled with gleaming vehicles that reflect the overhead lights in perfect curves and angles. The pearl-white GX460 sits in the corner like it's been waiting specifically for me. I run my fingers along its pristine surface, seeing my reflection distorted in the paint, a woman with purpose in her step, finally. I can get the paperwork started if you'd like to test drive it first, Marcus offers helpfully. No need, I say, straightening my shoulders with newfound confidence. This is the one. In the finance office, a woman with steel grey hair and kind eyes slides contracts across a polished mahogany desk. When we reach the payment section, she looks up expectantly. How would you like to finance this purchase, Ms. Thompson? I'll be putting down $60,000 in cash, I say, the words feeling foreign but powerful in my mouth. I'll finance the remainder. The finance manager's eyebrows rise slightly, a micro-expression of surprise I've become expert at spotting over the years. People have always underestimated me. That's quite a substantial down payment. May I ask your occupation? Commercial interior designer, I reply simply. I recently completed the Millennium Tower project downtown. I don't elaborate about the industry recognition or the bonus. Let them wonder. My signature looks almost foreign on the final papers, my hand trembling slightly despite my resolve. The key fob feels heavy and real in my palm, solid evidence of my worth. Congratulations on your new Lexus, Ms. Thompson, Marcus says, walking me to my purchase and standing proudly beside it as if he had something to do with its creation. I catch my reflection again in the pearl-white paint. The overhead lights create an almost ethereal glow around my silhouette. For a moment, I hardly recognize this confident woman staring back at me. Back home, I park in front of my Lincoln Park apartment building, unable to stop glancing back at the SUV as I walk toward the entrance. It looks almost defiant under the streetlights, a tangible symbol of self-worth. Inside my apartment, I grab my phone and scroll to Instagram. My finger hovers over the camera icon before I grab my jacket and head back outside. This moment needs to be documented properly. 20 minutes later, I'm at North Avenue Beach. The Chicago skyline stretches majestically before me, Willis Tower and the John Hancock Building illuminated against the night sky like beacons of ambition. I position my new Lexus with the city lights as a dramatic backdrop, adjusting angles until it looks perfect, the pearl-white exterior catching the urban glow like captured starlight. I take several photos, selecting the best one where the SUV looks powerful and elegant against the glittering skyline. The caption takes longer than the entire photo session. I type and delete, my thumbs dancing nervously across the screen. Finally, I settle on, happy birthday to me. Dream car, dream life. Sometimes you have to celebrate yourself. Birthday cake sparkles. My finger hovers over the share button for a full minute. This isn't just about posting a car photo. It's a public declaration, a statement about my worth that my family has never been willing to make. I press the button before I can second-guess myself. The notifications start almost immediately. Colleagues from the design firm, friends from Northwestern, former classmates I haven't spoken to in years. The likes accumulate steadily alongside surprised and congratulatory comments. Holy cow, Rebecca. What a beauty. Happy birthday, girl. You deserve it. Didn't know you were in the market for a Lexus. Major congrats. Living your best life. Happy birthday. I'm savoring this moment of validation when my phone buzzes with an incoming call. Mom flashes across the screen. I stare at her name for 3 rings before answering, my stomach suddenly knotting with apprehension. Rebecca Marie Thompson. My full name. Never a good sign in our family dynamic. Hi, Mom, I say, trying to keep my voice neutral. Where did you get that kind of money? No happy birthday. No how are you? Just immediate suspicion and interrogation. Hello to you too, I reply, leaning against my new Lexus hood, feeling its solid presence supporting me both physically and emotionally. I earned it. That vehicle costs more than most people make in an entire year. Harold, come talk to your daughter about this car she's apparently purchased. I hear rustling as the phone changes hands, followed by my father's stern voice, the same tone he used when I was 16 and came home past curfew. Rebecca? Is this some kind of lease arrangement? Because financially, this seems extremely. It's mine, Dad, I interrupt, the words tasting surprisingly sweet. Paid mostly in cash from my bonus on the Millennium Tower project. Silence stretches between us across the phone line. I can practically hear him recalculating, reassessing his assumptions about his other daughter. Well, his voice has shifted, suddenly uncertain. That seems rather impulsive. My phone beeps with a text notification. Natalie. I glance at the preview. Wow. Didn't think you could afford something like that. Mom and Dad are freaking out, lol. The family group chat explodes within seconds. Messages flood in about my sudden extravagance and unexpected purchase. Not one single message acknowledges what day it is. We need to discuss this as a family. Mom's voice returns to the line, sharp with authority. Dinner tomorrow night. 6 o'clock sharp. Is this an invitation or a summons? I ask, surprising myself with my newfound boldness. This is family, Rebecca. We're concerned about your decisions. I glance at my watch. 9:47 p.m. My birthday nearly over, still completely unacknowledged by the people who should care most. I'll be there, I say finally, but I'm driving myself. After hanging up, I sit in my new car, hands resting on the premium leather steering wheel. The silence wraps around me like a comfortable blanket, and for once, it doesn't feel lonely, it feels powerful. Tomorrow will bring a reckoning, but tonight still belongs to me. I start the engine and drive toward downtown, the streets quieter now as most people have headed home to their families. I find a small bakery near Navy Pier that stays open late. The bell chimes as I push through the door, and a woman with flour-dusted aprons looks up from wiping down counters. You caught us just before closing, she says with a warm smile. What can I get you? A birthday cake, I say, the words coming out softer than intended. A small one. She shows me a perfect chocolate cake with vanilla buttercream frosting, elegant and simple. Any message you'd like me to write? I hesitate for only a moment. Happy 29th birthday, Rebecca. From me, to me. Her eyes meet mine with quiet understanding as she carefully pipes the message in flowing script. No questions asked, no judgment, just a gentle, knowing smile as she boxes it up. Hope it's wonderful, despite everything, she says, sliding the box across the counter. Back in my car, I place the cake carefully on the passenger seat like a precious cargo. In the reflection of the bakery window, I see a woman I'm just beginning to recognize, someone who has finally decided that her own worth isn't negotiable anymore. The cake sits beside me like a loyal companion as I navigate the familiar streets toward home, ready to finish celebrating the birthday that nobody else remembered, but that I'll never forget. The next evening, my Lexus tires crunch on the familiar gravel driveway of my parents' Evanston home. I park deliberately beside Dad's practical Honda Accord, the contrast between our vehicles serving as a physical representation of the gulf between us. Through the large bay window, I can see their silhouettes, Mom, Dad, and Natalie, watching my arrival like judges preparing for a trial. Their expressions shift from stern disapproval to genuine surprise as they register the gleaming SUV in their driveway. I sit for a moment, hands gripping the steering wheel. 29 years of swallowed words press against my throat like a dam ready to burst. Today is different, I whisper to my reflection in the rearview mirror. I gather my purse and step out into the cool evening air. Mom opens the front door before I reach the porch steps. "Rebecca," she exclaims, her eyes immediately darting past me to the Lexus, then back to my face with barely concealed concern. "Come in, dinner's almost ready." Dad stands in the foyer with his arms crossed, every inch the disappointed patriarch. "That's quite a vehicle you've got there, young lady." "Yes, it is," I reply evenly, offering nothing more as I step inside and brush past him. Natalie hovers nearby, curiosity battling with discomfort on her expressive face.
"Hey, Becca. Nice ride."
The dining room looks exactly the same as always, the polished oak table where we've celebrated countless milestones, most of them belonging to my sister. Crystal glasses catch the light from Mom's prized chandelier. The table is set with the good china, the kind reserved for special occasions. Never for my birthdays.
"Wine."
Mom offers, already reaching for the bottle of Pinot Noir.
"Just water, thanks."
I want absolute clarity for whatever's coming. Dad takes his customary seat at the head of the table, his kingdom secure and unchallenged.
"So, Rebecca.
That vehicle must have cost you a fortune. These days, dealers will tell you anything to get you to sign those predatory financing agreements." I sip my water calmly. No financing necessary for most of it. The silence that follows feels almost physical, like a weight pressing down on the entire room. Mom busies herself serving pot roast, her specialty, while Dad clears his throat repeatedly, clearly preparing for a lecture. Natalie glances between us, sensing the undercurrents of tension. "The Millennium Tower project must have gone really well," she offers, reaching for the salt shaker. "It did," I say simply, cutting a small piece of beef. The client was extremely pleased with the results. "Commercial real estate is risky business these days," Dad says, stabbing a carrot with unnecessary force. "Tourism and business travel are still unstable. You should be putting money into your retirement accounts, not depreciating assets." "Harold," Mom warns quietly, but he continues undeterred.
"What?"
"I'm simply saying what any responsible parent would say. These impulsive purchases at her age." I continue eating methodically, letting his familiar criticisms wash over me like rain off a roof. The same dismissive tone, the same condescending advice. I've heard variations of this lecture my entire life. My choice of college, too expensive. My apartment, wrong neighborhood. My career, too unstable. The pattern never changes. When we finish the main course, I stand up and walk to my purse, retrieving a small white box I'd prepared that morning. The table falls completely silent as I place it in the center, directly under the warm glow of the chandelier. With deliberate, measured movements, I open the lid. Inside sits a perfect chocolate cupcake with vanilla frosting, and written across the top in elegant blue script, "Happy 29th birthday, Rebecca." Mom's hand flies to cover her mouth.
"Oh, Rebecca, we didn't."
"For 29 years, I say, my voice steadier and clearer than I've ever heard it. My birthdays have been forgotten while Natalie's achievements were celebrated like national holidays." Dad shifts uncomfortably in his chair.
"Now, that's hardly fair. Isn't it?"
I meet his gaze directly, unflinching. My 16th birthday party was cancelled because Natalie had a gallery showing. My college graduation dinner was postponed indefinitely because of her summer art residency interview. Mom's eyes begin to fill with tears.
"We never meant to."
My 21st birthday happened to fall on the same weekend as Natalie's first solo exhibition. I continue, my voice gaining strength with each word. "Not only did everyone forget, but you scheduled a family trip to support her and told me someone needed to house sit." Natalie's eyes widen with genuine shock.
"Rebecca, I never knew."
"And yesterday," I continue, my voice now carrying the weight of nearly 3 decades, complete and total silence. Not even a text message. The room falls absolutely still. The only sound is the gentle ticking of the grandfather clock in the corner, marking the seconds of uncomfortable truth. I stand straighter, my shoulders back with newfound confidence. I bought myself the gift I deserved, and I don't need anyone's permission or approval. But $50,000 on a car. Dad sputters, clearly grasping for solid ground.
"It's completely irresponsible." "Is it?"
I ask calmly. "The Millennium Tower project I just completed? The one none of you asked about? I transformed a failing commercial space into a profitable venture. Increased their occupancy rate by 40%. Won the Chicago Design Association's Innovation Award. I pause, letting the weight of my accomplishments sink in like stones in still water. And earned a $75,000 bonus. Mom gasps audibly, her hand pressed against her heart. That's my money, I say with quiet dignity, earned through my talent, my education, and my hard work. After nearly 3 decades of being invisible in this family, I decided to finally acknowledge my own worth. Mom dabs at her eyes with her napkin. Sweetheart, we never meant to make you feel invisible. It's not about intentions, I say, keeping my voice level despite my racing heart. It's about 29 years of consistent actions. It's about creating a family dynamic where one child's accomplishments matter and the others don't even register. Dad stares at his untouched dessert plate, uncharacteristically quiet for once. Natalie reaches toward me tentatively, then pulls her hand back. Becca, I never realized. I was so caught up in my own world, in all the attention. I should have seen it, should have said something. Yes, you should have, I reply, the words sharper than intended, but I don't apologize. But you're not the architect of this family's dysfunction. You just benefited from it. I turn back to my parents, meeting each of their eyes in turn. I don't need you to suddenly start celebrating me now. That opportunity has passed. What I need is for you to understand that I celebrate myself now. I value myself, and I won't apologize for it anymore. Dad clears his throat roughly. Rebecca, families are complicated. We've always been proud of you. Have you? I interrupt gently but firmly. When was the last time you attended one of my design presentations? When did you ever display one of my awards next to Natalie's certificates? When did you ever introduce me first when meeting new people? The silence stretches longer this time, heavier with the weight of recognition. Mom's tears fall freely now. Dad looks genuinely stricken, as if he's seeing me clearly for the first time in years. I stand up, gathering my purse with steady hands. I'm not asking for apologies or promises to change overnight. I'm simply stating a fact. The dynamic in this family has been unbalanced for 29 years, and I've finally stopped accepting that as normal. I close the cupcake box, leaving it in the center of the table like a period at the end of a long sentence. The cupcake is chocolate, I say with a small smile. Dad's favorite. Consider it my birthday gift to all of you. 6 months later, I'm sitting in my redesigned apartment. Bold colors, statement furniture, and most importantly, a wall dedicated entirely to my professional achievements. The rain taps gently against my windows, but tonight it sounds less like sadness and more like applause. My phone buzzes with notifications. Dad, happy birthday, sweetheart. Proud of everything you've accomplished. Mom sent flowers earlier with a note, to our talented daughter on her special day. Natalie wants to take me to dinner, just the 2 of us, no family drama. The Lexus sits in my designated parking spot below, no longer just a symbol of rebellion but a daily reminder that I define my own worth. Some purchases change more than your garage, they change who you are. And sometimes, when you finally celebrate yourself, others learn how to celebrate you too.